Gotcha.
Congratulations, Dr. Vegapunk. We have successfully carried out the first test of your gorgeous invention, the Mother Flame. I'm prepared to forgive your foolishness if you abandon your poneglyph research. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Did you say you tested it? Indeed, my loyal scientist. Well, the next time you turn it on, it's going to attack Marijoa. That is the setting I put. You're doomed, Quasar! You imbecile! Just forget that phone call. Just forget about it. It was a joke. So, Mother Flame. If we were to list the most dangerous things in the world of One Piece at the moment and in front of our eyes, Mother Flame, I mean, is there something else that can erase an entire island from existence in an instant? So in this video, which is part of a series of videos where we explore and discuss the crazy revelations of the Reverie flashback, we will talk about the Mother Flame in detail. Let's start by recapping what happened to Lulusia that day. Probably mad for the first time in 8 centuries. So he or she had to commit mass murder just like in the good old days to cool down. What? That is one reason, but he also wanted to kill Sabo just like I explained in my chapter review. So it was a good opportunity to test this new invention. Well, it's new, but from Imu's perspective, since making that thing must have taken decades, these 3 reasons encouraged Imu to order the 5 elders to mobilize the Mother Flame. There is an ongoing theory about the rays of light that came out of the Mother Flame and destroyed Lulusia. Some people say that there were 16 rays, which happens to be similar to Doflamingo's last attack he used against Luffy. But sometimes when I read it, I only find 14 or 15 rays, but it does not matter. The point is, the Mother Flame may have some deep connection to the world government's culture, you could say. Okay, so let's start with Imu's obsession with power and destruction. It's obvious to everyone that the Mother Flame is closely related to Uranus in both shape and abilities. So if we assume that the Mother Flame is not Uranus, then what made Imu think about crafting a similar weapon? What does Imu know about the ancient weapons, and what do they mean to him or her? This becomes a very important question if my ancient weapons theory turns out to be true. I have 2 parts, so make sure to watch them both. I think that Imu's obsession with ancient weapons either stems from negative or positive feelings. Now, if we know that Imu was one of the 20 founding kings and the former ruler of the Nerona kingdom, let's call it like that, okay? So if Imu has negative feelings towards ancient weapons and the ancient kingdom as a whole, it'd be trauma, right? Imu was probably traumatized by the ancient kingdom and its fearsome technology. Perhaps someone from the ancient kingdom used ancient weapons for evil purposes and the victim was the Nerona kingdom. This would give Imu a very solid motive to destroy the ancient kingdom and also aim to build a similar or even better military power. Since they couldn't get a single hint about the location of the ancient weapons, this fear that someone would eventually find those weapons and use them to kill Imu pushed them to create the Mother Flame. Or it could be the other way around. Perhaps Imu was fond of the ancient weapons and the ancient kingdom's technology. Imu has grown jealous over the years, and that encouraged him or her to create the Mother Flame. It's really important to know the motives behind creating this weapon of mass destruction. The Mother Flame came as part of a mega project that aims to upgrading the technology of the Marines and preserving their supremacy. I know that it's hard to imagine that Vegapunk, who admitted that he hasn't yet reached the level of the ancient kingdom in terms of technology, would build something like this, you know, from scratch. So maybe the world government was able to find the blueprints for Uranus. They could also find the blueprints of Pluton, but thanks to Tom, Iceberg, and Frankie, they never got their hands on them. So once the world government was ready, this mega project of building the Mother Flame started. If I remember correctly, Vegapunk joined the world government about, say, 30 years ago, right? So when did this project start? I know that One Piece is partially science fiction, but how long did it take to make the Mother Flame? It's really hard to imagine that Vegapunk started this from scratch. I mean, building that monster machine with the size of an entire island in less than 30 years. Like, what? If Vegapunk could really do something like this, then it's really a stupid idea to kill him. The problem with this relatively short time frame of 30 years is a problem of resources, funds, and workforce. Just imagine how many people had to die to make the Mother Flame, how much money had to be spent, and how many natural resources they used. This could actually be the reason for looting world government countries. You know, the Celestial Dragon tribute and resources exploration rights. So my assumption is that Vegapunk started working on the Mother Flame right after he joined the world government. This means that when Ohara was destroyed and he met with Dragon, he was already building something that would bring worse tragedies. So this may suggest that we were all wrong about Vegapunk. The guy may really be just a cold bastard who cares less about the outcome of his demonic projects. He just wants to see his masterpieces in front of his eyes. I know that a lot of you don't like the idea since Luffy's gut told him to help Vegapunk, but I really can't find any other explanation. So that leads me to think that Vegapunk was forced to work on the Mother Flame. He's a big coward, so he didn't want to lose his life. But this ultimately translates to wanting to save your own life in exchange for killing millions of people. So even in this case, Vegapunk's morals is in question. This is a really big problem. A very big problem for the Straw Hats and Dragon. What if the guy you're trying to save turns out to be someone like this? But I have faith in Vegapunk and Luffy's instincts. So what if Vegapunk realized that building the Mother Flame was wrong, but he saw a glimpse of hope in this evil project? What if Vegapunk obtained a hint related to the eternal source of energy? In this case, in exchange for sacrificing millions of lives, he would save billions of lives in the future. Many scientists in our history were in similar situations. A great example would be the German chemist Fritz Haber, who invented the Haber process to produce ammonia. This was used as a chemical weapon during World War I, but later it was used for many peaceful purposes like producing fertilizers. So this could be possible as well. So now let's talk about the weapon itself. The Mother Flame is an island-shaped airborne machine. It is capable of firing multiple light beams, many times the intensity of the beams we know in One Piece, beams like Frankie's radical beam and the pacifista's beams. So this gives the Mother Flame enough firepower to smoothly erase an island from existence. Just don't ask me how it can fly without an airplane-like shape. Just consider it a spaceship. Yo, the alien trend even reached One Piece. You never know. Maybe one day you'll find a CNN or Fox News article about a UFO, right? And they say, hey, we have a picture. But in reality, it's the Mother Flame. Oda will be like, what? Nani? But seriously, how can this big thing fly? Just how far can they send the Mother Flame? This is a really important issue because it would be meaningless if the Mother Flame can't fly for long distance. They need something like an aircraft carrier, or in this case, a Mother Flame carrier. Here is another issue. Just how big is this carrier supposed to be? You see, one problem after another. At first, it might seem that a deadly weapon like the Mother Flame would give the world government an advantage. But just as you can see, it's even hard to get it moving. Here's another question. Where do you think they hide the Mother Flame? In Marijoa? In some secret island? Imu said that Lulusia was closed, so it's gotta be Marijoa. It has to. We saw how easily the Mother Flame wiped out an entire island. Can the Mother Flame do more than this? The destructive abilities of the Mother Flame may be even greater than those of Poseidon. But unlike Poseidon, the Mother Flame can attack only one spot at a time. The Mother Flame is technically a flying island capable of launching insane beams. How the hell do they fuel this thing? I thought we had an energy problem in the world of One Piece, right? We kept racking our brains for more than a decade about ancient weapons, and now we have even wrecked it even more. Yo, fighting against the Mother Flame isn't a hopeless job since it must have some limits. Just like I said before, it is very unlikely to have it fly over the entire planet. Moreover, it just can't keep firing forever. After one fire, the Mother Flame probably needs time to recharge. Now, I have watched many science fiction movies so far, and I know this, okay? Now, did we forget something over here? Forget something? Yes, that's right. The crew. Who runs the Mother Flame? It's not a drone after all. I have a good feeling that the crew is not from the Marines nor from Cypherpole. So, who are these guys? First, they've got to have the scientific and technical knowledge. And second, they've got to be trained soldiers. I don't see any problems here. But the issue here is, how long can they keep running the Mother Flame without Vegapunk's science team? It needs maintenance, right? It needs maintenance, improvements, and many other things. The only guy who can tackle any problem with this machine is Vegapunk. So again, killing Vegapunk is a very stupid idea. Can they tell him damn the secrets and have him become Emu's loyal scientist? Just allow the guy to research the ancient kingdom, because that will bring more benefits to the world government. It's not like his memory is gonna be hacked or something. Oh no, it can be hacked. So, are the Straw Hats and the rest of the world government's enemies in danger now? Well, it's obvious they are, but we want to know if they're going to use it in the future, particularly in this Egghead Arc. Yes, that's right. This could very well be the famous Egghead incident. Just imagine if Vegapunk gets killed by the weapon he created. This kind of irony does happen in One Piece often, but let's hope that it won't be the case. At this moment, nobody except Sabo, Dragon, and Eva know about the Mother Flame. So we can say that Emu has a huge advantage in this final saga. But what would happen if Emu's enemies heard about it? This is inevitable since we have Vegapunk on our side. So we might have to find some countermeasures. But the story is different for Crossguild and the other emperors. Don't tell me that Shanks' Conqueror's Haki can't knock it off the sky. Just don't tell me this. Okay, I want some solid theories, so make sure to share your thoughts down in the comments. At the end of the day, regardless of what we said, Emu's victory is assured as long as no countermeasures are taken against the Mother Flame. So let's hope that Vegapunk doesn't just survive, but also figures out how to deal with this. One more thing, why did nobody think that the Mother Flame is just a modified Uranus?